Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Apologies, we are starting late today. We have some technical issues. If you can hear me, please just place a comment on the chat. Adikpeju, I can see you. Just place a comment on the chat so we can be sure that our connection is in place. All right, all right, all right. Good, good, good. I think Pedro, you can hear me. We really apologize for starting late, and we will get to it straight away. Give us a few minutes, in fact, less than 1 minute to do some little back end cleaning. Kristana Otobo, oh, great, great, great. Give us a few seconds. We'll get back to this. All right, we're back. Um, So today we'll be having a very interesting conversation on understanding Linux processes and process management. So today wasn't actually supposed to be my session. I just had to cover for my colleague. So we had some little issues setting up. With that being said, we will get right to it. I let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So this was just a quick slide. I'll just go through it. Then we get to the demo session, which is the juicy part. Um, all right. Good. So understanding Linux processes and process management. Let me just be sure. Okay, we're on the same page. Good. Great. So what is a process? Process is an instance of a running program. So when you have a program running, be it on the foreground or the background, whatever program is running, whatever software is running, it is a process. So each process has its own resources, such as memory, CPU, and time. CPU time. So memory in terms of RAM, and CPU time in terms of like the allocation of CPU resources. Processes are fundamental units of work in a Linux system. So it's not just Linux system, even in a Windows system. I'll give you an example of a typical process. When you turn on your task manager, like we have here, so this is like an example. As you can see here, they wrote processes. So you can literally see all the processes, which are the programs running on the background or on the foreground of the entire system. So for Windows, this is an example of the process. You have Slack, Chrome, WhatsApp, Tabby, everything running is a process. So I'll go back to my slide again. So what is the importance of process management? What is the importance of process management? So efficient process management ensures optimal resource utilization. So optimal utilization, proper process monitoring prevents system slowdowns and crashes. So if you monitor your processes properly or frequently, you would know if there's a problem in the entire system and something is crashing, something is not working or is slowing down. You can use your monitoring just to check which process is crashing the entire system. Do you get me? So effective process control enhances system stability and responsiveness. For example, here in my Windows, I always have my task manager open, so I know what is taking so much power, what's taking so much memory. At the moment now, I am using 86% of the memory on my computer. Most of it is by Chrome, and it's taking so much power here, as you can see, very high power. So these are like things that make you understand what is going on in your system, what is taking much power, what is taking much memory, which what are the unnecessary processes or programs that are running on the background, and whatnot. But in this case, we our case study is actually Linux and not Windows. We'll get to that. We'll get to the demo. So understanding different types of processes. This my slide is just a very quick shabby slide, but just have to go through all of it. So we have the foreground processes, background processes, we have daemons, we have interactive processes, we have bash processes. So let me just go straight to it. Foreground processes they interact directly with the user through a terminal. So an example of that is, and it requires the user input you get for them to proceed. An example of foreground processes are text editors or compile when you're compiling code. A background process. Oh, I think I switched to this thing. Oh, I think I switched it. So compiling code is actually a background process. So we'll get to that. So daemons. Um, So system processes that provide essential services in the background usually started at boot time. So a system process that starts at boot time and runs through the system operation, those are called daemons. Do you get? So an example of that is a web server such as Apache or MySQL, a database. Those are daemons running on the background. There are also some types of a type of process. Interactive these processes involve direct interaction with the user, often launched from the terminal and require input. So things like your GUI, your graphical user interface, a graphical application, text-based games, all of that are like interactive processes. Bash processes, non-interactive processes scheduled to run at a specific time. So the thing with batch processes is that they run at a specific time, often used for tasks that can be automated. So the key word there is automation without user intervention. So with batch processes, these are processes that run whether it's foreground or background. The point is they are automated and they don't require human intervention. So examples are regular backups of your system maintenance scripts and whatnot. I'll go fast. I wasn't able to finish all of this, but there are several commands we would use. So without saying too much, we let's just go straight to the demo. I'm more of a I'm more of a demo guy. So I have this Amazon Light Sail instance running. It's running an Ubuntu Linux instance, right? So what I'm going to do is to connect to it via SSH, and then we can start running different commands, and I'll show you the commands and why they're important on Linux. I have my terminal open here, um, trying to do too many things at the same time. So uh, coordination. So to on this, I'm using Tabby. That's the name of this terminal, so you can download it. So to SSH into that instance, you need to have created the instance and then get the key, the SSH key to connect to it. So on this left part of my terminal, I'm just going to copy the command I've used before. So ssh-i linux-gnome.pem is literally that is the key, my SSH key, and Ubuntu is the name of the user, and this 13.38 is the IP, the public IP address here to connect to that instance. So if I click enter, I should have is going to connect me to that instance. Okay, good. We're in here. I'm going to do the same thing on my low right um, tab. Going to do the same thing there. Oh, this is weird. Okay, I see what's going on there. Gonna close that up. All right, so let's do that again. So it is SSH SSH dash I, and then Linux. That's the name of the key pair I already have downloaded on my system. Is in my downloads folder. So Ubuntu is the name, username here of that instance, and then I'll just copy the public IP and say Ubuntu at that public IP, paste it there, and there we have it. Fantastic. So this should, yes, so I'm in. Now, there are several commands we can play around with. I'm going to, because I checked Chat GPT. Okay, there's no need for that, but let's just play around. So there's this command called, let me bring up my notepad. Yeah. So there are several popular commands we would learn today. There is top, there is htop, there is nice, there is kill, there is ps, which gives us ps ox, and then we have Jordan one again. Ps ox. Just quickly check this slide. I have done slide. Yes. So we have free. Yes. So we have free, and then we have the F. So I'll start with top. So top basically shows you a graphical interface of, well, not a graphical interface. It shows you the entire process is running. If we come to our Linux terminal here and we do top, you see what's going on here. It shows me all all the processes running, the thread and all of that. I will explain all of this to you very soon. But then there's something also similar to that. It's called H top, which is here. If I say H top, wait. So we see, yeah, both of these commands are they're spitting out the same information, but one is more graphical and well represented than the other. Do you get? So H top on the left and top on the right. Let me see if people are responding, because I have to moderate and also do everything at the same time. Just check. Okay, the name of the terminal again. I'm using Tabby and I'm using Light Sail for Linux. Great. So yeah, so let's deconstruct what's going on here and explain all of this. So as you can see on this, I'm going to zoom in a bit. Yeah, good. This is good. So when you have PID actually means the process ID. The process and the ID, that's what you have all of this going on there on the left hand side. That's the numbers there. User is telling you which user is using what process, right? So you can see Ubuntu user, root user, system md dash r, so that's the user. So we come here to let's just keep this and go to the ni. This ni means the noise, nice. What that nice actually means is the priority of that process. Priority of the process starts from, I think it starts from 20 to minus 19. So the lower the the default is 0, but it starts from 20 to minus 19, right? So the lower the process number, the higher the priority of that task. Okay. So the VIRT means actually is talking about the virtual memory, what in megabytes, the virtual memory that process is using. SHR actually means the physical memory that is using. The S here represents the state. So there are different types of states. There is the S state, there's the zombie state, there's the sleep state. you know in terms of state, it means the status of that particular process. The CPU percent is telling you about the how many percentage of the CPU this is using, and then the memory, and then the time. What's the CPU time that is allocated, you know, to this particular process, and then the command is basically the process. That's the program that is using all of that. So as you can see, htop is here, which is what we're using. It's telling you that htop is running, top is running, snapd is running, Amazon ssm agent is running, ubuntu at pts is running. So that's it. That's the general idea. So with this now, you can literally see what is going on. This is the process monitoring system of the Linux interface. Remember, there's top. This is top on the right hand side. It is less graphical, graphically appealing, but I prefer to use the use the top. But if you look, very interesting information at the top. So it tells you the state, right? If you look at tax here, you have 113 total tax running. One of those tax is running. You have 113 tax. One of them is running. 112 tax is sleeping. Zero is stopped. Zero is a zombie. So we have a zombie state or status. We have a stop status. We have the sleeping status. We have the running status, right? So In this case, we still get information about the amount of memory. This is the total amount of memory um, available. This is the total amount of memory being used, 94.1. This is the total amount of memory that is free, 94.1. This is the total amount of memory that is being used, right? We also get the same information, I think, similarly on HTOP on the left hand side, right? But here it's saying that in terms of the memory, we have 198 MB free out of 1.9 gig, which is almost synonymous to 2 gig, right? So we move to the next command. The next command is, let's go to psaux, right? Or just ps. So I'm going to close this. Let me just close this one and kill this. I'll say ps. So ps basically just means process. So ps aux still shows you something very similar to htop and top, but this brings gives you more information. It just lists everything out and time data you get. So the next thing is now let's talk about systemctl. So if I want to install Apache, I've already installed Apache basically. So to install Apache, uh, sudo apt install Apache 2. I've installed that before, but let's just see. It's there already. But systemctl is called system control. You use that to maybe start, stop, or check the status of a process. Let me just check the comments if there's anything there because I'm moderating and talking at the same time. All right, so no comments. No comments. Great. So systemctl is what is a command that you use or a program that you use to start, stop, and check the status of a of of a process or a program, or yes, a process or a program. So Apache now will be our case study. I've already installed it before, so it means Apache is already installed. But now we want to now check the status of Apache. We can then say sudo systemctl, like I said, status of Apache 2. We should get that Apache is not running. Good. So we see here it's saying active is inactive. The state is inactive and it is dead. But then it tells you that Apache is already there. Do you get? So it says it's trying to start the server here. It started the server, but the HTTPD not running. So it's just telling you that look, Apache is not running. So if we close this and we want to start Apache, we can still run the same command. So it's sudo systemctl start Apache 2. So yes, if we now check the status now, we should see that Apache is now running, right? So we can now go to htop. This is where it connects now. We can go to htop and see that Apache is now a process running here. Let me, I'm going to kill this and run that command again. Okay, so because I think because of the size, we can't really see everything running here. But to be sure that it's running, this is what we'll do. I will use this part here. It brings me to the next command, which is I didn't even write that command here. Let me just write it. PID off. So to check the process ID of, if a process is running, you can now check the process ID, right? right here, there's the process ID already running here, but Apache usually would have close to like two or three PIDs threads running. So if I let me use this top terminal, then I'll increase this. If I say PID of Apache 2, oops, PID of Apache 2. So you see, it has three processes already running. Do you get? So it means Apache is running, but then because of like the constraints of the screen, we can't view everything from here. This is what I'm going to do. Let me use PSOX. Let me just use top to see if that's going to bring Apache. Uh, okay. Uh, 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 okay. I'll use. So all of these commands come together. Finally, it's not loading it, but I know Apache is running. Apache is actually running. That's why we have the status here as running. So we can kill that process, right? If we kill just one process, Apache won't die because it still has like two other processes running. So we have to kill everything, which brings us to this kill command, right? So you use kill to kill a process that is running. For Windows, right here, I can just come here. Let me look for something. Okay, so you see WhatsApp here. I have WhatsApp here. I can click on that WhatsApp and just click on end tags, and that would basically just kill WhatsApp. So there's no WhatsApp there anymore, right? So we're trying to do the same thing on Linux, and this kill, that's the command. So to kill it, we will do kill, and then we kill gets the you can't just say kill Apache 2. You have to call the process ID, right? So we have three process ID there. I'm just going to copy the three of them. Yes, and then I'll say kill that three. Okay, saying operation not permitted. I need a sudo escalated privilege. Okay, so we've killed all of that. If I now try to check the status from here, I'm going to close this. See if I can check the status. Yep. So we see Apache is what? Inactive. It is dead. So that's where this kill command comes in. You see a process that is making your system hang, or a process that you actually do not need, or something is becoming slow. You go, you check the PIDs, you check the process, PSOX, top, everything, just to see and calibrate what's going on. Find that process that is not needed, or the process that is actually causing some form of issue, and then kill it. Okay, but you don't go ahead killing everything. There's some processes that are very important for the system, that makes everything run. So don't just go around killing all kinds of things. So let's do. I think cover PS free. Oh, I think I lost everyone for a bit. My network here is failing at all. Please put in the comment. Just let me know where I stopped, where I lost you, or where you lost me, so I can go ahead and just continue from there. Okay, so just place in the comments if you are following that. Oh, I am following. Oh, we're back. Great. Adepeju, where did I lose you? If you can. Okay, okay, free command. Great. Fantastic. So the free command displays system memory usage and statistics. All right. So it's very basic. If I let me this, clear this, and then just say free. Oops, it logged me out of server there. I think I'm logged in on this site. So if I say free, yeah. So with free here, I can see that I have this is showing me the the statistics in kilobyte form, no, in megabyte form. So you see, this is the memory, this is the total, this is what is used, this is what is free. It has another option. If I say free, I think free dash H. Yeah. So with this, it shows me the stats in gigabyte form. So 1.9 gig, which is approximately 2 gig, you know, total. And then this is what is used, this is what is free. You use that to check your memory and how memory is, what amount of memory is available. Okay. So there's another command, df. Yep, there's df here. So df is used to display disk space. You get, so if I say df, so we can now see all this on the system and the spaces that is available, partitions basically. What you're seeing here are literally partitions, you know, and then it just shows you all of that information. So back to, so this niceness is basically referred to priority status on Linux. So rounding up here, it refers to priority status on Linux. So if I receive I'm being followed, or if you've lost me again, okay. So we have 6 people. Great. Um. So niceness. Gonna Yes, sets priority. It sets process priority, which is the niceness level. So you have niceness. Let's try and use that. We would start up Apache again. Let's check the status of Apache first. I'm sure it's out, but let's just see. Sudo sudo system. Use this site system ctl status Apache 2. Apache is dead, so let's bring it back to live. Same command, change this to start. Yep, check the status now. It should be running. Now, in terms of niceness, the syntax is nice, the option, then the number. You remember I said that's from the priority status starts from 20 to minus 19, and 0 is the default status. If we come to, let me show you where this is being implemented. I think I've shown you before. Oops, I'm disconnected from the server from this terminal. Oh, I have to connect to that server again. Okay, let me quickly do that. SSH dash I Linux. I need to get the pub IP, so it's Ubuntu at Okay, so copy that again. So let's put that here. Yes, paste it and yeah. So if I say is this thing not responding? That's weird. What a day. Yeah. Okay. What responding? Stopped responding. Okay, if I say H top here, so this NI here is the niceness, right? The default is on zero. This is saying minus one, which is on a more higher priority status. Do you get? So if I run, let me see if this terminal on the left is still working now. Because I don't understand why it's acting up. So it's a weird behavior to use this one here. So, okay, so I have to go into my downloads folder. Downloads. Okay, then I run that command. Okay, so we're in here. What I wanted to do was to, increase the priority niceness of Apache to, let's say, 10. And let's just see if it's going to show on the right hand side. So if I say nice, what's the command again? Nice dash n, I think. Yes, nice dash n. I'll give it 10 priority. I call Apache 2. Okay, so we have to check if Apache 2 is running. Let's check the status. System CTL. System CTL status Apache. So it's running, but I have no idea. Okay, so it's trying to tell me that I cannot increase the priority level of Apache in this instance. So without further ado, I think I've explained too many things, and some people might be confused at the moment. What's this guy doing? What's going on? So I'll just take the next few minutes to go to questions and answers, and then we'll call it a day. So if you have any questions, please just post them in the chat, and I would get to it. Any questions? Right. So I believe everyone on this call understands what I've been trying to do in the terminal. So, any questions? Is either understands or some people are lost and just don't want to or just don't know what kind of questions to ask. Okay. I think Pedro understands because I feel he already understands the industry. Great, 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 great. So, without further ado, we'll just call it a day. This isn't supposed to be my session. I just had to cover up for my colleague who has some um, family matters to attend to. So I just had to do that. I wasn't fully prepared in terms of like creating the slides, and my colleagues are not here to help me moderate the event. So I'm kind of like doing both things at the same time, which is very taxing. So that's it for today. We'll be having our advanced session I think on Saturday, and I believe we'll be covering EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. So if you're ready, thanks for your time. I enjoy. Oh, thank you, thank you. So if you are already advanced, you understand all of these things, and you want to start working on live projects on Saturday, don't miss Saturday. We're working on Kubernetes, so Elastic Kubernetes Service on Saturday. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this session. Uh, please have a wonderful week ahead.